Well, all right. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Meryl Fury. I am president and CEO of Plant-Based Nutrition Movement, which is a 501c3 located in the Chicago, Illinois area. We are here today. We're on day 3 of the 2024 6 Million Seeds Child Nutrition Summit, which is all about educating and making it real for feeding children healthy food and why, and then how to make it stick. Today, we have been looking at the impact of our eating patterns, in particular children's eating patterns, on the environment. That's why I'm wearing this shirt today, because a lot of us believe if we ate more plants, we could save the world. So that's what we're talking about today. The session we're going into right now is Dr. Sailesh Rao, and he's going to talk to us about something called the Pinky Promise, which I am so looking forward to. I'm going to give just a little bit of a bio introduction for Dr. Rao. He has by far one of the most impressive CVs I have seen in a very, very, very long time. So I'm just going to pick the high points. And if anybody has questions or wants to know more, the full bio is available on our landing page, which you'll see the URL come up for shortly. But let's get into his introduction. Dr. Sailesh Rao is the founder and executive director of Climate Healers, a nonprofit dedicated to healing the Earth's climate. Dr. Rao is a human, earth, and animal liberation activist, also acronym HEAL. He's a husband, a dad, and since 2010, a starstruck grandfather. He promised his granddaughter, Kimaya Rainey Rao, that the world would be largely vegan before she turns 16 in 2026, so that people will stop eating her relatives and the animals, our beyond human relatives for sure. He has faith that humanity will transform to keep his pinky promise to Kimaya, not just for ethical reasons, but also out of sheer ecological necessity. Along with Kimaya, Dr. Rao was the co-recipient of the inaugural Homo Ahimsa Award from the Interfaith Vegan Coalition. Dr. Rao is author of 4 books, and he has been involved in multiple movie productions. The Human Experiment in 2013, Cowspiracy in 2014, What the Health in 2017, A Prayer for Compassion in 2019, one of my personal favorites, They're Trying to Kill Us in 2021, The Land of Ahimsa in 2022, Milked in 2022, Christspiracy in 2024. This man's energy and passion for this subject knows no bounds, which is wonderful. With that, we're going to bring Dr. Rao onto the stage and welcome him. Yay, he is coming to us from India today, so it's late at night there. They're about 12 hours difference from us time-wise. So thank you so much for being awake and smiling for this presentation. I'll get out of your way. Yeah, you are so welcome. I'll get out of your way and let you get started.
Thank you, Mira.
Yes, you're welcome.
Let me see if I can share my presentation. There you go.
Ewan, we can't hear you. If you are speaking, we can see you.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, today I want to talk to you about what I call the greatest transformation in human history. And this is about the Pinky Promise as well. The greatest transformation in human history is a transformation from a climate heating species to a climate healing species. And I say we have no choice but to do that, but to make that transformation happen. In my life, the transformation happened when I took this photograph of a fence in Rajasthan, India. And to the right of the fence, it was lush green forest. And to the left of the fence, I could see all these old dairy cows walking around eating anything that was growing on the ground. And at that point, I was a lacto-vegetarian. So I was consuming dairy products, and that was the only animal product that I was consuming. And I realized when I took this photograph that consuming dairy is one of the leading causes of climate change. Instantly, I knew that when I took this picture. And I knew I had to give it up. Okay. So I basically gave it up because I realized that dairy cows, when they eat anything that's growing on the ground, they're preventing the forest from coming back. And when they prevent the forest from coming back, then there is no food for the deer, and the deer dies. And when the deer dies, the tiger dies. So I could see this chain reaction happening in the environment. And besides, when the forest is not coming back, that's a lot of carbon that's not being stored on the ground. So, so I had this because I'm a systems engineer, and I understand opportunity cost. So there was something called opportunity cost that I was mentally calculating because I knew that 1/3 of the land area of the planet was grazing land, and it's being artificially kept as grazing land because we are raising all these cows. And if we just let those grazing land become forests, I was doing back of the envelope calculations to show that we can literally reverse climate change. So this is what happened to me. And this was 2008, 16 years ago. I went vegan. Now, people come to veganism from three different portals. Okay, mainly from health, or from ethics, or from environment. Veganism, by definition, is a way of living that seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. But when people come to it from health or from ethics angle, there is not the same sense of urgency as I felt when I did it for the environment. Because I felt as if my house was on fire. Okay. And because I was seeing my entire, the planet being on fire. That's how I was viewing climate change. And the environment, there has been this planetary boundary framework. It showed in 2009 that there were really 3 fires on the planet. Those 3 violations. Anything that's in red there is a violation that's enough to kill life as we know it. So the 3 that were violated was climate change, nitrogen loading. So nitrogen meaning there is too much nitrogen being used in the environment, and that causes life to die out. And the third was loss of biodiversity that comes from habitat loss mainly. Okay, so habitat loss mainly because we are grabbing the forests and we are saying we need it to grow more animals for our food. So that's the 3 fires, or the 3 alarms in the fire, planetary fire, in 2009. And by 2015, it became like 4 alarms, 4 major alarms, and there were minor alarms within them. And by 2023, it's a 6-alarm fire. Okay. Not only is it a 6-alarm fire, every alarm is blaring louder and louder and louder. So in just 14 years, I've seen this thing getting worse and worse and worse. And I know that we have no choice but to change. I'm sorry, is this moving 2 slides at a time?
You just went from now you're at the picture of the
3 slides, yeah.
the fires. What's the next ones for you?
Animals dying.
Yeah, we have a picture of a lion.
Okay, all right. I think it's skipping some slides. Okay. So the biggest alarm that's going on is the loss of wild animals. And I've been watching this since 2014. So in 2014, the World Wildlife Fund Living Planet report said that between 1970 and 2010, we wiped out 52% of all wild animals by total weight. And when that report came out, I was shocked. More than half in just 40 years. How soon are we on track to wipe out almost all of them? So that was the calculation I wanted to make. And I assumed that we were killing wild animals proportional to the size of our economy. So the bigger the economy, the more wild animals we're killing. And that's some reason to believe that, because the bigger the economy, there's more pollution, and that pollution causes the water to be polluted, and therefore the wild animals die from that. It also causes more and more land to be taken away from them, and which means that they cannot live and they die because of that. Or it means that we are catching more and more fish in the ocean, and therefore they die off from that. So I made that assumption, and I extrapolated, and I assumed that the economy will keep growing the way it was growing. And when I did that calculation, it said that by 2026 we are on track to hit 100%. And I was shocked. I was thinking, if this is really true, why isn't everybody working on this? Because if there are no wild animals left, we are going to die. Because it's that, for me, from a systems angle, I could put two and two together. It may not happen right away, but our necks are on the chopping block, along with all the wild animals that we are killing. So then I thought, my model is so simple, and maybe, let me wait until the next report comes out to see whether I'm right or not. Now, the World Wildlife Fund Living Planet report comes out every 2 years, and it takes them 4 years to compile the data, because they've got like huge amount of surveys that they need to do. So they issued the report for 2010 in 2014. So then they issued the report for 2012 in 2016. And it said that between 1970 and 2012, we wiped out 58% of all wild animals by total weight. So at that point, I knew that my calculations were in the ballpark, because it went from 52% to 58% in 2 years, which means we are losing wild animals at 3% per year. At least those 2 years, we lost 3% per year. So I knew my calculations were in the ballpark. And that evening, the report had come out sometime in August of 2016. I was given the job of putting my granddaughter to bed. And I usually read her a story, and then she asks me some question or the other, and then she goes to sleep. So this time she put her head on my shoulder after I read her the story, and she said, "Grandpa, who were the first human beings?" And I had promised her that I'll never ever lie to her. So I was trying to think about, how do I explain evolution to a little child? So I said, okay, imagine that you're standing on the street and you're holding your mother by your hand. You ask your mother to bring her mother to stand by her side, and so on. So you create a long line of mothers on this side of the street. And the other side of the street, you ask a chimpanzee to do the same thing with her mother and her grandmother, and so on. When these two lines go from Phoenix to Tucson, they will merge, because both lines are going to say, "Hey, that's my mama too." Because Phoenix to Tucson is about 150 miles, and I was calculating, 3 feet, 4 feet per mother. They're holding hands and standing. So I knew that by about 3 million years, we would have merged. 3 to 5 million years, we would have merged. And that's enough to get to Phoenix, from Phoenix to Tucson. As soon as she heard that, my granddaughter sat up in bed. She said, "What? Are you telling me that animals are my family?" You can see how children put it together so fast. I knew this theory of evolution, but I had not put it together like that. She said, "Are you telling me that animals are my family?" I said, "Yeah, now that you put it that way, they are your family." And she said, then why are people eating my family? Grandpa, make them stop. They're eating my family. She started bawling. She started naming names of people she knows who are eating her family. And I realized I created a world full of monsters for my granddaughter by telling her the truth. So I was trying to console her and I said, Kimaya, this is what I do. It's my job to make them stop. So please stop crying. Immediately she stopped crying. She looked at me. She said, this is your job? This is your job? You know you haven't done your job? And then she shook her finger in my face and said, do your job. And then she asked me, when will you do your job? And I blurted out, I better do it by 2026, otherwise we are all in big trouble. She said, will you promise me that? I said, okay, I'll promise you that. She said, will you give me a pinky promise? I said, okay, I'll give you a pinky promise. And I had no idea what it meant. She said, hold out your pinky. And then she locked her pinky in mine and said, you can never, ever break a pinky promise. And then she went to sleep. And I couldn't sleep because I realized I'd made a very serious promise to a little girl that um, on behalf of my generation, to her generation, that we will sort this problem out. And then, since then I've been going around telling the story and talking to people and convincing my generation that we have to sort this out for the next generations to come. We cannot keep doing what we are doing, cannot keep destroying forests, cannot keep killing wild animals. We have to shut down that killing machine that's destroying the planet. And that's the only way out to solving all the problems that we face. Okay? And I have faith that humanity will do this because in nature, every animal belongs exactly as they are. The elephant belongs exactly as she is. You can see the elephant breaking branches of trees, eating the leaves, throwing the branch away, breaking another branch, eating the leaves, throwing a branch away. And you may think this elephant is being destructive, the forest. But in reality, wherever the elephant broke branches of trees, that's where the sunlight streams and nourishes the underbrush. Wherever the elephant stepped on bushes in the forest, that's where new pathways are formed in the forest for other animals. So the elephant just lives and she helps the other animals. So she's part of the system, of the ecosystem. In the same way, we humans just live and we are part of nature. Okay? Because our superpower is the control of fire. We can start fires anytime we want. And that's what we have been doing. In fact, what we have been doing so far is to start a whole bunch of fires, not only for burning fossil fuels, but also for killing animals. Because we're killing animals at such a fast pace, it's all mechanized. So there is a machine that we have built to kill animals. The machine that we have built to kill all the trees. And all those machines come from knowing how to start fires. So that's our superpower. And in nature, no one is given a superpower without being told a task to do. Okay? I'm sorry, this is completely subsampling my slideshow.
Phelan, can you troubleshoot a little bit maybe with Dr. Rao?
Yeah, let me see if I can present directly from my... Hold on a second. So if I say present from and share screen,
Okay, I was muted. I'm sorry. To do share screen, you're going to have to upload your PowerPoint to Google Slides.
oh,
So if you could do that really quickly, then we can pick up from your last slide and keep going.
Yeah, it's just dropping some of my slides. All right.
Yeah, no, we want to see all of your slides.
Yes, we
I'm
do.
on the edge of my seat for this presentation for sure. So,
All right. Okay.
mhm.
Hmm. Upload it to Google Slides, huh?
Mm-hmm. And then what will happen is when you share, when you do present and share screen, it'll show you a list of the links that are available for you to share. And your slides should be one of those links.
Okay. Okay, let me get to my presentations. There you go.
And to our audience, so sorry this is happening to us live. The VIP package will contain an edited video recording where this piece won't be in there, and Dr. Rao's presentation will look like it flows flawlessly. So as soon as you can get uploaded into Google Drive, have the slideshow open in Google Drive, and then come back to StreamYard, hit present, and screen share, and you should find the Google Drive link.
Okay, it's asking me for password. Hold on a second.
So in Google Drive, if you go to share in
Yeah.
Google Drive and give permission for either viewing or editing, that should take care of the password piece.
Okay, I let it go. All right. Continue. I just uploaded it and it's not finding it. Hold on.
It should be at the very top of your browser tab
Mm-hmm.
list. Are you seeing it?
Yeah, I see it here, but StreamYard doesn't see it. All right.
So in Google Drive, do you have it open?
Yes.
That is strange.
Okay, because if I say it from slides and PDF from Google Drive, Google Slides.
No, slides and PDF, you want to do it from, instead of slides and PDF, you want to do it from share screen.
Okay.
So present, then share screen. Then you should see the list of URL links.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Yes. So let me just switch this out and add you in. Okay, you should be, there you go.
Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Now we
Yeah.
see the house on fire. Oh my God.
Yeah. That's a slide it missed in my original.
Ah,
I was a little confused why it wasn't there. Anyway, good. We have
okay.
gone past this now.
Okay.
Uh,
So I'm going to remove myself. You find your slide and then we'll pick it up from there. Give me a couple
right.
of seconds before you start speaking again.
Okay. Okay. So our superpower is the control of fire. And if you think about where, what era in which we were born in the middle of an ice age. It's actually the fifth major ice age in the Earth's history. So the blue lines here correspond to how far the ice had come down on Earth. And so 300 million years ago, we were in a major ice age. Okay. And since 33.9 million years ago, we have been in an ice age. And this ice age, over the last 3 million years, you see it's sticking out all the way down to 30, 35.
We lost him.
Oh no.
We lost him.
I'm hope he'll come right back.
I'm sure he'll come right back.
Goodness, what a set of technical issues.
What
Oh
is
my
today? What's the moon in today?
right. It's not April Fool's. I don't know. This is terrible. But you know what? We can, while we wait for him, just I'm sure he'll come back. Oh my gosh. Maybe we could talk a little bit about the VIP package and what is.
You talk about the VIP package. I'm going to see about getting him back.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, that is just a little bit upsetting, isn't it? But well, we'll keep going, and we'll expect Dr. Rao will come back. I'm literally on the edge of my seat, waiting to hear his Pinky Promise story. So, just to give you an understanding of our VIP bundle and what we're doing with that. So, as you know, this conference, this summit is free, and we are so grateful for everybody who's tuning in and listening and wants to make a difference for their children and their grandchildren or their neighbors or their nieces and nephews or any other, their students, their patients, anybody else who's listening and has children around them. So that part is free, and that's important. We also have an opportunity that if you wanted to have these recordings, lifetime access, as well as a hefty bundle of gifts that you can upgrade for $47, minimal price. And that $47 will get you access to extras. One of the extras is a PDF of Dr. Rao's book called The Pinky Promise. We also have recipes and how-tos and flavor profile spice mix recommendations. We've got last night Lee Crosby did a breaded tofu recipe, which was great, and a green monster smoothie recipe. We have a little video that Ava Stubbe and I put together, quick interview of her. We've got all kinds of things from recipe creators, dietitians, chefs, and all sorts of, all the presenters are contributing something. The point of the $47 is not that it will go to, it's not going to go to keeping our lights on exactly. It's going toward our effort to expand access to plant-based foods in schools. Right now, we're working with schools in Illinois. We have 8 schools that we're already in contact with and have been working with that are in the process or actively are right now, already have been providing one plant-based meal, a lunch per week for their entire campus. And what we want to do is expand that program. We want to see more and more and more schools take that on, because it is a law in Illinois that children can request a plant-based lunch and get it at no extra cost. So our goal at Plant-Based Nutrition Movement, and with our project partners, Balanced, which is another 501c3 here, a national organization, we're working together to make sure that schools have the information they need, they have the contacts they need, they have the vendors they need, they have the education that they need so that their school's food service professionals can do this job and do it well without fear, without worrying about how much protein is in a bowl of beans or whatever else it is that holds schools back from providing highly nutritious plant-based foods during lunchtime. So your contribution, basically of $47, helps us do that work. It will go directly to that. If you want to see more about that, there's actually our website, which is called More Plants on Plates Illinois. If you put that in Google, More Plants on Plates, IL or Illinois.com, it'll pop right up, and you can see the kind of work that we've been engaging in. Like I said, we have 8 schools that we've been working with to do this, and they are all loving, amazing, engaged, and dedicated to providing these plant-based meals. We even have one school in Lake County that's going 100% plant-based for all of their meals and snacks, which is amazing. There's only maybe 2 or 3 other schools in the country that have been able to do that. So that's what the $47 goes to. So grateful for whatever you are able to do with that. And let's see, we have not gotten Dr. Rao back yet, looks like. So if there's anybody on who has any questions, we can take those in the interim. Oh my goodness. Dr. Rao is coming to us from India. I don't know. I hope they didn't have a sudden storm or a power outage or something like that. And our apologies for this interruption.
Indeed. I'm trying to reach out in every way that I can to find him. There he is there.
It kind of wouldn't be an online conference if there wasn't some tech issue. I have gotten to be relatively comfortable with tech issues, although when someone's in the middle of a presentation, that's the last time you want the tech to go out. But.
Yeah. And trying to figure out what possibly could have happened. Okay. Messages everywhere. You know, a lot of things happen with Zoom, and I've not had this happen with Zoom yet, but I have had it happen a couple of times in StreamYard. I don't know what else to do, Meryl. Let me see if I have, no, it's, let me see if I have him on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Okay.
So for those of you who are watching, would you mind putting in the chat where you're from or in the comments on YouTube? Let us know where you are watching from. You know, on the subject of our eating patterns and climate and the condition of our planet, I'm so looking forward to hearing what Dr. Rao has to say. But, you know, one thing that I think is striking in the United States in particular is, I think it was 2018, there were a couple of major hurricanes that went through North Carolina. And then again, just this month ago or so, a couple of good hurricanes went through there. And the number of, an obvious impact that animal farming has on our climate here, just in a really small sort of microcosm of what could happen in the world, is that in North Carolina, there are some amazing number of thousands of concentrated animal feeding operations, CAPOs. And when the hurricanes went through North Carolina, they affected those CAFOs, right? And there was flooding. A lot of animals died because they were either just exposed to the elements, or more recently, I understand this last couple of storms that went through, the doors were closed and the animals could not get out. So when the flood waters came as a result of the storms and the hurricanes, there's flooding. The flood waters breached the excrement lagoons, the manure lagoons, which is where all that concentrated animal feeding poo is held. Those were breached, though that amount of animal excrement, which is, millions of pounds of animal excrement, is released into the surrounding environment. And then in 2018, for sure, there were actually pictures of the animals that were drowned and dealing with, being overcome with water. As they were drowning, they were also released into the environment. So we had dead animals floating in bodies of water and flooded, and excrement in the water and all kinds of things like that, which was just horrible. If we did not have the demand in our food supply for that amount of animal products, those animals wouldn't be in CAFOs. And when storms like that happen, that number of animals wouldn't be dying as a result of the way they're kept and housed. They're warehoused like that. So one of the things that in our family, what our major contribution to keeping the planet alive, to saving the world, is not eating any animal products at all. We do not want to consciously contribute to that type of animal exploitation and the impact that it has on the planet. So that's what we do. I would love to know of anybody who's watching, any comments or any thoughts, or how do you handle that? Because it's a real problem, that our demand, our food supply, our request, our desire for bacon, ham, burgers, steaks, pork chops, ribs. It's that is contributing to the deteriorating condition of our planet. I'm not going to say it's the only thing, but it has a lot to do with it. It's certainly something that we could control. Us individual citizens, we can control that. And that, if you have a passion for this or you have a concern about it, and certainly among children in the world, a lot of the kids are seeing the changes in the climate, and they are noticing the stress when storms come through or wildfires or all of this, right? Their kids are in that mix also. And they wonder, what can they do? Can they do anything? They feel helpless. They feel like they're at odds. They don't know what to do. That causes a lot of anxiety in our children. One thing that you could teach them to do is eat more plants, because that is a concrete action that even a 3-year-old can take that could make a difference. So I'm going to check back in with V-Lynn. I'm guessing that she hasn't reconnected with Dr. Rao, or he would be here.
You are so very right. I've reached out on numerous connections or connection opportunities. Facebook, I do not have a number to connect with him on WhatsApp, but email, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. And maybe it's something in the area where he is.
Yeah.
And we'll have to consider plan B, which is maybe doing a video with him and then putting it up for all to see for a period of time, and then having that up in the VIP package.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a number for him either on WhatsApp. I was just looking. Well, I think we need to make an executive decision. I want to thank everybody for coming and watching. As far as we're able to get, our apologies, deep, sincere apologies that the gods of tech were not working with us today, not for this presentation. Very disappointing. Sorry to lose the connection there with Dr. Rao, but
It just means that this is an important one to hear.
That's right. And we will make sure it happens.
Exactly.
That's what that means. We will make sure it happens. For those of you we have whose email addresses we have, we'll let you know when that happens, so that you can come back and hear his presentation in its entirety. So, V-Lynn, I think what we will do is put a wrap on this for this time. We will come back this evening, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, to hear from Anu and Dilip Barman. They'll be doing a demo of what to eat for breakfast when you're not eating animal products. I believe they're doing 2 tofu scrambles, and that will be that story.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Go ahead, Dylan.
Thank you. I was just going to say thank you, everyone. And thank you, Meryl, for continuing the conversation while we were trying to troubleshoot this. And I think that's a good plan B. And we will let everyone know what's happening going forward.
You sure will.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
See you this evening.